Okay, I think we are live. Hello, everybody.
Hey,
hello.
Let's see.
Don't
Looks
mind
like we've got
Kristen, eat dinner.
Yes, that's me usually too. Before Stormalong, time for dinner. Oh, looks like some people are reading Warbreaker. Awesome. We were just talking about that. So let me just get a few announcements out of the way, and then we can, stupid hair, move on to some discussion questions. And then we'll have an open mic section at the end of the questions. And, but that shouldn't stop you guys from sharing whatever you have to say about Stormlight. We want to hear from you. That's really why we're here, is to chat with each other and you guys about our really awesome series here that we're reading. And things are certainly getting exciting. This is the third live stream for Words of Radiance for Stormalong 2020, which is a read-along to read all the way through the current Stormlight Archives books so that we'll be prepared for Rhythm of War. And we'll be finishing just after the time when Rhythm of War comes out. So we hope that you will read with us if you are here. Or if this is your first time, we hope you'll come back and you can totally catch up with us. We'll be finishing in I think December 3rd is our last live show. So you have plenty of time to catch up if you are not caught up now.
It's easy.
It's easy.
7 hours.
Yeah, do what Kristen does. 7-hour stints at a time, once every other week.
And it's not hard to binge, in my opinion. So let's see here. That's most of the stuff. Oh, if you do enjoy this, do please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel and also the channels of my wonderful co-hosts here. Do you guys want to introduce yourselves and your channels real quick?
I think last time we decided we were going to have a predetermined order because we're all just going to sit here
and we forgot.
Oops.
Why don't you guys go first? You talked first. I pick you.
Okay. Well, I'm Ryan, and this is Kristen, and we're from the channel Seeking Stories, where we talk about books and movies. And I recently looked at our videos, and the last almost 10 were Stormlight ones. So I guess we're a Stormlight channel temporarily.
And they have a bunch of really fantastic Stormlight videos, and Ryan's playlist is linked down below in the description, along with a playlist by Michael. Do you want to introduce yourself, Michael?
Sure. My name is Michael Nip from the channel Michael Nip, and this is my favorite book series of all time, which is why I'm reading through, or going through it a second time. I'm cheating some the second time through.
And Michael has even gotten his wife into it, too.
Yeah, Amanda is mostly caught up too, with the read along.
Cool. And go ahead, Victoria.
Hi, I'm Victoria. I didn't have a creative name idea today, sadly. But my channel is a musical bookworm. Hello.
Victoria has been working on songs that are inspired by relationships and characters in the series, and she has one for Kaladin and Syl on her channel, which is amazing, and it's linked down below. And it got shouted out by what was her name?
Oh, Elliot Brooks. She's
in the chat.
She's
She's
here.
here.
She's in the chat.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Hi, Elliot.
Thank you for coming. Yeah, it's an amazing video. Thank you for shouting it out, Elliot. That was really nice. And okay, so I think that's all the introductions. So we can get started here. I'll just put up some questions. You can feel free to answer them or not. And if there's something long that you want to talk about, maybe save that for the open mic section. But really, just share whatever you have to say, and we'll be happy to talk with you about it. So I wanted to talk about the Lift interlude because I had such a different experience reading it this time around, and I'm curious what you guys thought of Lift.
I will say, I think if it hadn't, I mean, she didn't bother me at all. I think if it hadn't been for her Spren Windle, is that the name? I think she would have been a lot less interesting. But their dynamic was hilarious and a lot of fun. And it made that whole thing a lot of fun. And then the whole introduction of the food, why she needed food so badly, I thought that was really fascinating. So I enjoyed it. And of course, then you see that guy again, the one with the crescent, whatever, the one from one of the other interludes, show up again, and so that's another like, what in the world's going on here? So I enjoyed it. I think definitely if it hadn't been for the Spren, it wouldn't have been quite as interesting. But yeah.
I liked Lift a lot. I actually, while I was reading her, I was thinking, I want a whole middle grade book just about Lift.
Yeah.
That was really fun. But I guess maybe we're getting a novella, or there is a novella, right?
There is a novella.
There is one already. Okay. Yeah. I love her. She's awesome. I thought her whole appearance was also a fun like comic relief. I felt like that's kind of how her role was a little bit. Some comedy in there. So yeah, I adored her. And
yeah, I think Lift is my second favorite character. I just love how she thinks about magic. She doesn't call it magic; she calls it her awesomeness, and that just like tickled me. It kind of reminded me a little bit of Vin right at the beginning of Mistborn, where she calls her magic her luck. It's like Sanderson. Some of his characters, they don't know what magic is. They just think it's something that happens to them. So it's luck or it's awesomeness, and it's cool how not everyone just says, "Oh, I have magic." It's something different to every person.
What was your different take on Lift this time, Christy? You mentioned you changed your mind.
Yeah, I think she has a really strong personality, and I didn't really jive with it at first, mostly because I think I didn't really understand her, and because she is so young and she's written so young. And sometimes Brandon's humor kind of falls flat a little bit for me. Not always, but sometimes. But the second time around, I really loved it. I think I just understand her a little bit better, maybe after reading her novella and and I guess going through the whole series again so quickly, I think it's just giving me a different perspective than I had the first time I went through them. So yeah, I really enjoyed her. What is our comment?
Yeah, Rich says makes me want to go out and get a pet Voidbringer.
That's a great comment.
Yeah.
My wife also, when she finished the Lift interlude, she was like, "Oh, Lift is the best." She likes kids and stuff. I will admit that I was closer to Christy. The first time I read it, I was a little bit on my like, I don't know, me being a jerk hobby horse. I'm like, what is this goofy chapter doing? But in reality, like, there's a lot of silly parts in Words of Radiance specifically. Like, we've made all the memes about the boots and stuff. But like, in hindsight and in retrospect, and then revisiting the series, Lift is a lot of fun, and I think she does bring that like a little bit of a change of pace.
Yeah. I definitely appreciate how she doesn't, unlike so many other characters that we're reading about, she doesn't take herself that seriously. Like she just lives for her next meal.
When you spend time with like
fun, and everyone else is all like doom and gloom. And then we okay.
And Dalinar specifically are just like they're the worst people you could possibly have at a party.
Yeah, talk about downers.
Yeah. Of course, I'm not sure if it happens in the series because we're only like, I guess almost 2/3 of the way through, but I can't wait for Lift to meet Kaladin someday. Kaladin's first interactions with people are always the best.
It's because he's so
grumpy.
Yeah.
He is kind of like a very old man, but he's not.
Yeah.
Like, get off my lawn.
Yeah.
Definitely that kind of person. I have a question. Is Edge Dancer, does it take place before or after that interlude we read?
After the beginning of Edge Dancer, the very first chapter of Edge Dancer is the interlude again. So it takes place right after that.
Interesting.
Okay.
And it's pretty short. It's like, what, 120 pages?
I think the audiobook is about 8 hours, so almost the size of a normal book. Yeah.
I think that's how long the audiobook of Treasure Island to listen to was.
Elias says Dalinar wouldn't let anyone drink at a party. That's true. He literally does that.
Yeah. I loved that party scene though with the all the wow, the word's escaping me, but the money in the pool, making the pool glow, you know, the different colors, the colors of the moons.
Yeah.
That was such a nice detail. I don't really like parties either, but they sound beautiful.
They're more, yeah, I don't know. The parties in these books, like those dinner things that they do, they're so strange because they're like on the edge of a battlefield, but also no one's taking anything seriously. But it's such a weird thing where it does sound beautiful, but also it does sound very extravagant and like a giant waste of time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sanderson does like to have a lot of things go down at like parties. Like in Mistborn, there's always these balls they go to, and here it's all these parties on
Feasts.
feasts and parties on the battlefield.
Well, and I think it also
Yes.
feels like there's the rich people who like don't really take things seriously, and they're just like they have the privilege that they can party,
Right.
and they just ignore everything else. We see that in Mistborn too. It kind of shows the hierarchy. Shard plate poops.
Okay. That whole thing made me step back and go, what was Sanderson's like mindset when he just decided to include this into the story? Like,
We got to remember in book 1, Dalinar dug a porta potty for all intents and purposes.
yeah.
It's true. How many of our first dates involved some sort of poop joke, though?
I mean, well, and it's the kind of thing because obviously the whole point of it is to establish this a unique dynamic between Adeline and Shallan, because she doesn't converse with him the way he expects her to, the way all the other women do. It's like he even goes to answer a question she doesn't ask. She just throws him off on purpose, and it's like, so. I get, obviously I know that's the reason. It made me wonder, like, at what point as Sanderson's writing this, did he, like, I'm thinking he's trying to imagine, like, what question should I put in there? And it's like, how, I would love to know for him what that moment was like when he finally decided, I need to have them talk about pooping in Shard Plate. Like,
It's maybe like
be really
a
funny.
little bit of me making fun of Brandon for being a nerd, but I think we're all nerds here. He recently talked about how he makes some of his scenes when he's having different people talk to each other, and he oftentimes builds the entire scene around one specific punchline that he wants to get across. And I can't help but thinking that was the entire point of that scene, was to get the poop in.
Yeah.
That could, yeah.
Well, and that's I almost said Shallon or Shaylin, like
like
Leslie.
Leslie.
Yeah. That's how Shallan is trying to, I guess, get Adelin's attention, just like she's trying to get the Ghostblood's attention. She's like, I need to be like exciting and different. And I need to grab the attention.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It worked. to be
It's
fair.
working. I mean, let's be honest. All of the other girls that we've seen him date do seem kind of boring.
Yeah.
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 Shallan is anything but boring.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
This quote, Victoria. There's a video about introverts that Victoria had shared recently with and it talks about how being at a party and having to just like do small talk with people is exhausting. And this comment, this quote was just like, yes. I mean, and more so for Dalinar, because he actually is doing political things and not just social things. But yeah.
Yeah.
Hard agree.
Yeah. I can sympathize with that.
Yep. They can be exhausting.
Dalinar is a kindred spirit.
Yes. So much.
I'm kind of sad that we're not getting as much Dalinar in this book. I think it's my only gripe. I had so many gripes for Way of Kings. This one, like, I love, but Dalinar, he's like, his presence is there.
Mhm.
I just wish we got more inside his head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's why we have
I
the
guess
next book.
I guess he has a whole book.
Right.
Yeah. So let's talk about our favorite things so far, which I think some people have been doing a little bit, which is awesome. Favorite action scenes, favorite interludes, favorite settings, whatever you guys want to talk about that was exciting for you.
Well, I'd go out on a limb here and say I can imagine a lot of people really enjoyed the action scene of Adeline taking on
For
people, for shard bearers, and then his brother joining in and Kaladin jumping in. That's pretty. To imagine that scene was pretty epic. Yeah. So I just can't really remember, other than his duels. I can't really remember any other action scenes. Were there any others? I don't remember.
right at the end of our reading section, the bridge when the bridge collapses.
Well,
That's not an action. That's not an action scene. Am I
That's a
missing
good point.
anything?
Huh?
Or is it just the duels? Are those the only action bits in this?
I think so. I think
Yeah.
mostly the duels.
Remember.
Which
I
it seems
can't
like a lot happened, but I guess a lot of it was political in this
Yeah.
section.
Yeah.
Or backstory for Shalon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
Yeah.
Shalon
Or
backstory.
40 pages of lift.
Yeah.
Salon infiltrating the Ghostbloods was a big part of this.
That
Yeah.
that could be an action scene in a way. It's not fighting action,
It's
but
intrigue.
It's, yeah,
It's
intrigue.
Yeah.
That makes me exhausted reading those sections of her infiltrate. Like that's, to me, that's mentally exhausting to imagine, like just going along with her, because it's that tension of like, if one small wrong move and it's over.
I'm going to be honest. I think that Shalon, more than anyone in this series, just stresses me the frick out all the time. Like I seriously like get on the edge of my seat every time, and like not in the. I can't decide if it's a good way or a bad way because it makes me nervous as a person.
Yeah.
It's like, what do you do? Sometimes she does such naive things. You're just like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so impressed by her now, though, because I guess previously, before all this Ghostblood stuff, I like Shalon was kind of like making it up as she went, but now I feel like she had to be very strategic and very savvy to be able to break into the Ghostbloods, you know, and like just all the ways in she had to trick them in the middle of also tricking someone else, you know.
Yeah.
I found her to just be really impressive, and I feel like she's definitely been growing into her own throughout the book, and her becoming a Ghostblood, I feel like, is maybe the accumulation of that for me. I'm like, okay, you're like, she's a force to be reckoned with.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yasna's supposed death was like the best thing that could have happened to Shalon.
Yeah.
Just set her off on this crazy path where she has to figure it out. And like Michael said, it's extremely stressful, but it's extremely fun to see her just kind of finagle her way through every single situation.
Yeah. At the same thing, she's gotten she and Callan actually both still frustrate me because they're holding back a little bit on their potential, like their own potential as a character. Shalon, because she's refusing to go back to whatever past she's repressed. Like, so, you know, whatever pattern keeps bringing up. I think it's like 3 times he specifically mentions, or he alludes to something in their past, his and hers, that's important for her abilities. And she finally, that scene where she's like, no, if I let that come back, it's going to break me. And he's like, no, that's a lie. But he's like, but whatever. And it's just frustrating because she's so convinced that, you know, this part has, whatever it is, has to stay locked away. And it's like, it's just frustrating that she's doing that. Because, you know, like you get that feeling that if she let it come, like she would have more in her. And then Cal frustrates me because he kind of is doing the same thing. He's letting his like grumpiness, but like bitterness and prejudice, just like, you know, it's a little less, I think, obvious, but it's a little bit holding him back, I think, in not so much in his abilities, but in his, I don't know,
Development of the character.
Yeah, just in overall his development as a character. He's just like stuck here at this like wall of prejudice and bitterness, and it's like, just get rid of it and you can move on. Come on, do it. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's like these characters are their own worst enemies in a lot of ways. And I think that can be a really relatable thing to see in a character.
Mm-hmm.
It's also
It's hard
a really
because
good song
sometimes-
by Lit.
What?
I made a bad joke. I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I missed it. I like one song by Lit that I've heard. My Own Worst Enemy.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
what
I
I'm
get
saying.
Sorry. Yes, I love that song. Dang, I was gonna say something, but I don't remember. Let's see.
Well, I think my favorite part was when Adeline steps out of the dungeon and was like, "Hey, I was here too. I have like cologne and such, but
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
was
the
great.
most like bro moment.
it is."
Yeah.
Adeline is turning into my favorite character in this book. Is he so like? I don't even know how to put it. Like,
Kristen's reaction.
I hope Elliot's not still
Like-
in the chat because she hates Adelaide.
Who?
Elliot.
Oh.
Well, he's not like all the he's like no fantasy trope. Like he has bits of fantasy tropes, but he's not, he's not the grumpy character, he's not the old man, he's not the wizard, he's not the farm boy, he's not, the typical love interest. He's just this, and he's spoiled, but he's not like
He's a
jerk about
spoiled
it.
rich kid who's trying to be better.
Yes. It's hilarious because of it.
I was thinking about this earlier. He really is one of my favorites, and I was thinking about it is because all the other he's, to me right now, he's the only character that is actually experiencing true positive growth. Shalon is growing, but she's still like stuff is still holding her back, and she's still stuck on a few things. And Dalinar doesn't really need to grow at this point. He's the steady character. And all the other, like, it's like no one else
going
really,
backwards.
Like, somebody's going back. Yeah, it's just Adeline's the one. Yeah, he had problems. He had his flaws, his character flaws, and he's the only one to me that's actively like going it right now in a positive direction and trying to overcome things. And and it's he still like kind of says silly things or acts a little spoiled, but it's like he's trying.
Yeah. Oh, he's absolutely spoiled and rich.
Oh yeah. But I mean,
but at least he's a spoiled and rich person who can actually like hold his own in battle.
Yeah.
Like that's got to count for something, right?
Yeah.
Can we talk about the duel? Like
Yeah.
that's one of my favorite scenes in the whole series.
It was
Because
great.
you get to see so many different things. You get to see Renarin's personality when he steps out there and just has no idea what the crap is going on.
Yeah.
You have Adolin, who could have held his own against three of them. It's not until the fourth person approaches him that he even gets hit. He's like holding his own against three of them. It's so clear. Like I've had this conversation with people before of like, who are the best fighters that we know on Roshar? And Adolin is easily in the top three because he's just crazy at dueling.
Yeah.
But the moment where I get the chills is when nobody will freaking help them. And Dalinar is like looking at the court going, where is the honor? What is going on?
Yeah.
And Paladin's like multifaceted, super powerful. Like it has so many different meanings when he says honor's dead, but I'll see what I can do.
Yeah.
When I listened to that, because I heard that audiobook first time, I got such massive freaking chills when I listened to it. And then I've referenced it in the past. That was the chapter that I finished. And then I had to go inside and I couldn't read what happened.
No.
I was like, I was shaking and I could not concentrate on anything. I was like, I need to know what happens because I thought Renarin was going to die. I thought Ayla was going to be a cripple. I'm like, what is going on in this chapter? Because it's so crazy. All the stakes are on the table. And then,
Yeah.
But I'll see what we can do. It's just so nonchalant. It's amazing.
Yeah. And he's like, if something happens, look after my men. Like, just like, whatever, I might die, but
Yeah.
yeah.
It's the Kaladin.
Go ahead.
He's so flawed, but he's also like, well, frick, I guess I gotta do this.
Yes.
You know what I find ironic is Kaladin, he's always harping on honor and like no one has any honor. And he says when he comes out and says honor is dead, and yet his spren is an honor spren.
Well,
it's called irony.
Like,
But like at the same time, it's also ironic because that was the name of their god that said he was dead at the end of the first book. Their god Honor is literally dead.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. This scene, I think, solidified in my mind that, like, if I could direct one movie before I die, it would be Words of Radiance.
Not with Kings.
No, Way of Kings is too slow. Words of Radiance would be a riot to do.
It definitely has a lot of fun. It's got a lot more comedy, and I think the action scenes have been more tense.
Mhm.
And the pacing of it is much faster.
Yeah, and it would be so much easier to adapt into a movie.
Yeah.
There will be a video.
Movie like.
So that moment that Rich put the quote from, that I thought was probably for me the most epic moment of the fight, because Cal essentially just randomly replicates something that he saw once and does it. But then I was really stuck on the second part of that, the screaming, the whole screaming, and then like I read that short little paragraph. I read it like 3 times because I was trying to figure out what was going on, because then the guy, I forget the name of the guy who's swinging the shard blade at him, that he catches it, but the guy's reaction, I was like the first time I read it, I made an assumption about what his reaction was. And then I read it again, I was like, wait a minute. And because at first I thought he was reacting to the fact that he didn't hit the guy that he was trying to hit. And it was like, freaked him out. And then I wondered if he was reacting to the screaming. And then, of course, I think Kaladin actually wonders if the other guy and he were the only ones who heard it. And then it made me wonder if, like, he heard something, because it sounded like he was when his words that he yelled before he runs off. It sounded like he was responding to something. Yeah, that someone was
coming in clutch.
Yeah, thank you, Rich.
Always.
He was responding to something he heard, like actual words, and it almost like. So I read that whole section a few times because I was just trying to wrap my head around what was going on, and it made me really hope that at some point I get an explanation for what in the world went down there.
I'm sure you will.
Because it's just that part. I don't know what it was about that little tiny paragraph, but it really intrigued me because, like, I want to know who the screaming was, who heard it, and why that guy ran off yelling what he did. So I don't know. I want to know what's going on there.
I agree. I also got a little stuck on that part, trying to figure out what was going on. But yeah, hopefully we'll get answers.
Yeah.
Natasha has a good point about Zale kind of coming in clutch during that battle. Like, his teaching was significant portions of it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that is true. Kind of also makes me wonder, because someone brought up that I think 2 people mentioned something that reminded me that Pattern was at the fight, because Shallan sends him out to do something, but we never actually know what he does. Like, we never get anything.
I think he distracts someone.
Well, I think Syl noticed him.
Yeah,
but we don't actually get like Shallan's like, hey, go help. But that's the last, and then the next mention we get is Syl saying that there was a cryptic at the fight, but we don't actually know what he did. So.
Yeah, that's true. I guess that wasn't actually specified. Interesting.
Yeah. Who here blames Kaladin for trying to duel Amarim at the end of the battle? Obviously, we know it went bad.
Well,
I do not blame at all.
Do I? I guess it depends on your definition of blame. Do you blame him? Do I blame him for wanting that? No. Do I think do I think he lost control of himself and wasn't thinking straight? Absolutely. And that it's his.
He was coursing with adrenaline. This is his only opportunity.
I was so in his head there, and I was like, "Oh yeah, let's do this. Let's have 2 duels." And
There's no other way that could have ended.
It goes so badly.
It's definitely one of those things that was needed for the story, because he needed that kick that Dalinar, because Dalinar's scolding, he needed that. So, but it's still, to me, it's still cringy. It's like, Kaladin, no, you just.
Well, but look at what Dalinar's scolding gets him. What does he do when he comes out of jail? He gives the sword and the plate to somebody that he knows is going to do a naughty.
Yeah.
Oh, that bit is cringy to me, because I'm just like, I mean, they're Dalinar and Adolin both make a good point that the king could have kept his cool as well and just, not reacted to it. But
he should have.
like,
But we know
yeah.
who's the king.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But still, it's like Kaladin. It just, I don't know. It was just like, you didn't need. To do
I still think that
that.
Kaladin's gonna be forced to take a shard blade at some point. We're like, I mean, I don't know. I haven't read it, but we're barreling towards that inevitability. I feel like this story just can't not have that happen.
Or
Just
that maybe
think-
he'll feel ready for it at some point.
Yeah.
He's not been ready for it is maybe what I'm thinking.
Could be a circumstance where like he has to do it to save something or someone, or like he won't have a choice.
Yeah. I feel like Kaladin, this whole last section with him, this sort of, like, it to me, it demonstrated just how much he's always fighting his internal demons, right? He's got so much darkness inside, and he's always, there's a Kaladin that can totally be amazing, and then there's the other Kaladin that sometimes takes over, right? And right now he's like in the middle of it and just trying to figure out which Kaladin he is.
Mhm.
And I think it's interesting too that like Syl she's been kind of like going in and out of like, I'm kind of being a normal Spren now, and then like in and out of sentience a little bit. And I guess that, that's kind of tied to Kaladin's own internal struggles too, and him trying to figure out who he is.
Yeah.
So as much as Shallan did stress me out in this book, I think Kaladin stressed me out even more, and I think that's because he is my favorite. I love Dalinar very much as well, but I felt I was so in tune with Kaladin too when he was dueling there and he called Amaram out. I was like, yes, this is the moment. This is happening. I'm ready for it. And I was so mad when they put him in prison.
Yeah.
I was like, that is not fair. But I get, like Adolin said later, I think you just don't understand how duels work. Like, you were not offered a boon. You know?
Yeah. Well,
but still, I didn't blame him.
Yeah, and Dalinar's whole point to him is like you were in the meeting, you knew the plan.
Yeah.
That the king was going to ask Adolin, or what, I don't even know how I'm pronouncing his name now. Him, like he knew what the plan was supposed to be. The king was going to ask, one person like what you wanted, because he wasn't even supposed to be down on the field. That wasn't the plan. So it was like he let himself get lost and just forgot about what was supposed to happen.
He just fought 4 shard bearers. Of course he lost himself.
Well, and like that totally changed the game to me. It was like, I mean, he should get a boon. Like he would if he wasn't a Dark Eyes. He would be like, he would have been given a shard blade right there.
It's a weird thing to think about because technically they shouldn't have been allowed on the field. But the fact that the judge would not call it when Adolin surrendered, I say that's when all bets are off. Like, we are no longer following the rules because somebody paid off one of the judges. Mm-hmm. This is now just like literally someone trying to murder someone else.
Yeah.
And
sorry, go ahead.
I was kidding. And the murder would have happened without Kaladin.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So he saved the plan in the first place, like Adolin said, which I really appreciated that about Adolin, because up until about this scene, I was never a fan of Adolin. But then after this, I was like, okay, I like him better.
Well, on that note of Adolin,
and he understood where Cal was coming from entirely. He agrees with him. So, yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. Like Adolin's like, something's weird with Amaram. Like he's too clean. Like no one's that clean.
That's the other reason he's one of my favorites, because he's the only other. Well, he's the only, I guess, to play the classes. He's the only Light Eyes that Kaladin has talked to about Amaram. That's like, yeah, I believe you. Like, I think something's weird, off with him too. And he makes a really good point, is like everyone has flaws. He's like, even my dad, who's like one of the best people I know, makes mistakes. And it's like, for someone to supposedly have this perfect personality that's never done anything wrong is like, that's a red flag. And, I think he makes a really good point. Yeah.
I like Elliot's comment.
Who?
Which one? The last one?
When Kaladin calls out Amaram, it probably made him pee a little.
Probably, yeah.
I mean, to have seen what Amaram has seen in regards to what Kaladin is capable of, I would pee myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I was speaking of Amaram, and this is slightly off the topic of the duel, but because part of the whole back and forth is Kaladin's claim about the shard blade and what happened. And Dalinar said, I have all these witnesses that he said he got his 4 months ago. And so I'm wondering if that his cover story is technically true, because he has, at least from Shallan's point of view, he has her brother's shard blade. And I think he made some comment when he shows it to her when she's in disguise that it's like newish to him. So I don't know if could the blade he got 4 months ago that all these people are witnessing, is that the one that belonged to her brother? And so
I think he's
just hiding the one that he got from.
No, I think it's the same one. I think he's just so like trying to invest himself into the lie that he just is careful what he says and says, I got this one I got a few months ago. It's brand new. When he may have just got it and then hid it for several months to kind of let everything die down and then start presenting it. That's my thought.
So do you think Halloran, I don't know how to say his name. Do you think he was the one that Kaladin killed?
You think he dead?
Well, he's probably dead either way, but
yeah. Yes, I do.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. What do you think, Victoria?
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I can definitely see that maybe it was I think Kaladin being the one who killed Halloran is possible, because the one time we were kind of told about it, he was in the middle. It was in the middle of a battle, right? So he wouldn't have known who he was killing. I think it well could have been him.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I thought, because that possibility ran through my mind when we first the quote that Rich just posted, when Shallan recognizes it went through my head oh, did Kaladin kill her brother? Obviously, just as part of being in a battle. And then when we get the whole bit about, oh no, Amram got his blade only 4 months ago, and he tells Shallan that it's when someone tried to kill him. And I guess it's I can't really decide between these two possibilities. And of course, I know there could be a third that I haven't thought of, is either her brother was the shard bearer at the battle and Kaladin killed him, or that was another shard blade and her brother tried to kill Amram just recently and died, and his story is true. I don't know. I can't decide.
You'll find out at some point, I'm sure.
One is more convoluted than the other, and I can't decide if simple is better or not.
Amram seems like the type of guy who likes simple lies that he can just say the same thing over and over again.
But if it is, it's not that simple. That's a pretty, I don't know. If the whole thing is a lie, that's a pretty complicated lie.
True.
But
yeah.
And I'm trying not to look at Christy and Michael again. Especially Christy, I think she almost cracked.
Yeah, Elliot made that comment. Christy and I have both read the series, and the people on the right of the screen have not. And yeah, it kills me every single week, but I also love the theories.
I don't know how you guys do it.
Okay. That was tough. Yeah, I could just turn my camera off. That's a good.
That was so fun. The audience needs to see your reactions.
Rich is just laughing at us.
Well, if we do Aragon along next year, then it'll be the opposite group of people. Well, technically, Michael, you read it too.
Yeah.
Christy's the one who hasn't read it. So we'll all be like.
True.
Sorry, Christy, what was the question you put up? I read it and then forgot what you said.
Oh, theories. Yes, let's do any plot predictions and theories that you have for.
I want to hear Michael make up a fake theory.
Give me a second, and I probably could.
Okay, you go first, Victoria. Well, Michael thinks of a fake theory.
I don't know if I have a theory at the moment.
I'm trying to think too if I have any.
I'm kind of boring this week. I haven't given it a lot of thought.
No such thing as boring.
And you can give theories for later books too.
I'm wondering if sorry, hold on. I need to make sure, because again, accidentally read one chapter ahead.
Accidentally.
Accidentally.
I stopped paying attention to chapter numbers and I just read, and then all of a sudden I realized I read too far.
I know. I had a moment of crisis because I finished this section about a week ago, and I'm like, guys, this is the week. I'm just gonna keep going. Like I can't, so I went and bought Warbreaker instead and started reading that. That was my fix.
What are you gonna do for the next 3 weeks when you finish Words of Radiance tonight?
Warbreaker and Edge Dancer, and then I'll jump back into Mistborn if there's more time.
Okay.
But I think my theory still stands that Yasna is still alive because Lift did that thing that I predicted way back in our first live stream where she like resurrected a dude.
Oh yeah.
So I still think that's Shallan's second power, and that somehow.
Wait, I thought you meant Yasna's. Because we know Shallan's too.
Oh, second power. And I still think they're gonna somehow go through Shadesmar to get to Uruthiru at the end. That's still my theory. Okay, I'm done.
This is a much less far-sighted theory. Well, I don't know. Maybe it's not. But because I've been I think Victoria, you were mentioning earlier how Syl is kind of starting to go through this her kind of flightiness to, you know, her back and forth mimicking Cal's struggle. And it seems like to me that because he is wavering between this whole like his duty to protect and then his like the whole like, you know, do we use the end to justify the means of killing the king because he really shouldn't be there? And I think it's his whole playing with the idea of accepting murder is, I think, it seems to be what's coinciding with Syl's kind of like almost distancing, like it's affecting her, like their bond. This is what I had to look up to make sure it actually happened in our section, where he's like, she makes him realize like, oh crap, I've made 2 promises that I can't keep, but I can't break an oath. And she's like, no, yeah, you can't break a promise now that you've made it. So I'm wondering if he is going to somehow help fulfill unseating Elokar without actually killing him. Because that would bring about the results of what he's promised to Moash and his friends, but it would also not make him break his promise to protect the king. I don't know. Like, to me, that's the only out. That's one of his only outs right now, is to somehow get the king out of his position without killing him. And I don't know how he's going to do that. But
yeah, either that or maybe he has to accept that Elokar is in his position and that like they have to live with that. Maybe I don't know, maybe that's the moment he has to be like, I have to stop attacking all the Light Eyes. I know. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. Makes me interested to see how Cal and Syl's relationship is going to play out, because if his you know, dalliance with the idea of murder is affecting them, like how is that? I don't know. They have to get back together.
I like Natasha's reads right now's theory that Shallan will kill Amaram and then find out that Kaladin was the one who actually killed her brother and Clash of Titans will ensue. I like that theory. Yeah, I buy that.
Yeah, I think that's where I'm leaning towards too.
It's not a theory, but something that I think is worth discussing a little bit. I think it was Leah that brought it up a little bit further back. She mentioned Eshonai's chapter, which I believe was the meeting where Adolin was wearing the shard plate, trying to pretend to be Dalinar, and I don't want to spoil where things are going, but that seemed, if that had gone differently, if Eshonai had not gone to the form that she had chosen, that could have been fairly significant in changing the course of events with the Alethi and the Parshendi. For me, that moment, even though it's not super long and it's different, that was a moment where I was like, oh crap, if just like one thing would have been different, this could have changed the entire course of history.
Yeah.
But it didn't go that way, and now it's probably going to go very badly.
Yeah, it's any number of things. If she had been able to meet with Dalinar earlier,
Mhm.
if she had taken that form.
It's kind of like when you play sports and like there's one play where you can pinpoint if this was different, the whole game would be different. But in reality, if the whole team had been playing better, it wouldn't have come down to that one moment.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I view it. It's like everybody was pretty much not understanding each other, not doing what they needed to do, and that's why things are going in a bad
Right.
direction.
Yeah, no, that sports analogy is actually like that's one of the
Perfect.
best analogies I've heard in a while. Like that makes sense because it's so true. Like you'll call out the one person who like in football missed a catch, but yeah, if the whole rest of the team had done good, it wouldn't have come down to let's just beat up this one guy because of a mistake.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that scene to me felt so short. I was like, wait, that's it? That's all that came out of that meeting?
Yeah.
It hurt me. It hurt me to read. I was like, all this time we've been building up towards that, and that's what happened?
Yeah.
It hurt.
Is she even in her interlude? Then she even lies about how the meeting went.
Yes.
Like,
Oh yeah.
why? Like, what was her purpose for lying? She just like she says, oh, they just wanted to gloat about how they were going to destroy it. And it's like, why did she have to say that? Like, why couldn't she? I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe that's how she perceived it now in her storm form. Maybe she just perceived that interaction that way. I don't know. Maybe that was the truth to her.
I don't know.
Mhm.
It broke my heart. I'm in the boat with Victoria.
It's painful.
Well, because Asha and I, like Leah says, Asha and I, it's so cool at the beginning, and
Yeah.
she's so interesting, and she's like the level-headed one, and then things went bad, and now it's just spiraling.
Yeah.
Michael,
Well-
didn't you say that she is going to be the flashback character in book 4?
Yeah, it's a combination of Asha and I and her sister.
Oh,
Finale.
that's right. Yeah,
Mhm.
that'll be interesting to see
Yeah.
that perspective.
Yeah.
I'm so excited for that.
We get Dalinar's perspective first.
Frick, Rich. Yes, and Rich has that quote that Asha and I said before it happened. Yeah. Oh,
Which one? This one?
I think the one that you had before that.
Oh,
one,
sorry.
I think.
Oh, I always do that.
It makes me think of when Esh and I first went into the storm to try to transform. She had that moment. She was like, no, this is a bad idea, and tries to backtrack. And the Stormfather's like, nope, too late. So it's like, even she like, had this idea like, wait a minute, I don't think this is a good idea. And I think she was right, but now it's too
The
late.
Stormfather is even like, I wish that I could say no. Like, I
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah, the other quote you just had, Christy, the speaking of football, missing that opening NFL game to watch is same here. I think it's the first opener I've missed in 15 years. This is more important by far.
Oh, dang.
Oh,
Thank you guys
Thank
that care
you,
about football
guys.
that are here. Especially because like there's been no live sports at all. So that
I know,
means
right?
more.
oh no. Thank you for your sacrifice.
Yes.
You guys are way better. So is Stormlog and Stormlight.
Stormlight is better than football. I want a t-shirt.
Put it on your, whenever you launch a merch store, Michael, put that one up there.
Yeah.
So the quote that Rich just posted, Wit is my other favorite character, I think, right now. Like part of it is I love this type of character that like 80-90% of the time is just this snarky, sarcastic, just not really an ounce of sincerity in his interactions. Of course, in this case, it's his job. But then we get these few moments, and it's only with certain characters. I think it's only been with, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like it's only been with Kaladin and Dalinar, maybe.
And Shalon.
Baby Shalon.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
well, yeah.
Because that scene where they're like, it's you,
Oh, that
it's you.
that was
And he's like,
hilarious. And to interrupt myself, I thought it was hilarious his reaction when she goes to hug him. It's like the first time Wit is caught off guard. He's like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Because no one does that to him. But But then you get these few moments where he's like actually a real person and he's having a real conversation with someone. It's like I really like that in a character.
Yeah.
And then this what Rich referenced this to his whatever his own agenda is, just really like I really want to know what his character is up to. Like I want to know what he's doing.
He's very mysterious.
Yeah.
I also really enjoyed the moment when Navani like smacks him.
Yeah.
with her
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
away. Just keep him going.
And
And then
yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
still think it's telling that way back in Way of Kings, when Wit is first doing his witting, that during that one party, Dalinar's the only one that Wit doesn't make fun of.
Yeah.
Like for me, that just
Yeah.
says a lot about Dalinar's character.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I like, and I really like that conversation they have.
What?
Is
Which one?
Wit attractive? I don't know. I haven't seen fan art of Wit.
I have seen a little bit.
Now I'm
Spicy
curious.
Oh dang! Is he a screw boy?
Well, I guess that's a popular opinion. Looks like it.
Oh dang!
I still think I'm thinking every live stream, take Paul Bettany from A Knight's Tale playing Chaucer. That's how I see Wit.
Completely agree.
Yeah. It's a very similar type of character.
Yes.
I agree with Leah in the comments there a little bit. I think I think that at some point the group that escaped from Eshonai will show up again and be important and make some kind of important appearance somehow. I don't know.
Interesting. I was just listening to Shardcast today, and they were thinking that too. They were making predictions about that. It's an interesting one.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, we have a crying kid.
Oh.
Do we like that?
Well, okay, is Wit human? Because isn't he super, super old? Like, do we know if he's even human or he's like some other being? Isn't he really old?
I assume so, right? Because if he's in all of the Cosmere books are not all taking place at the same time, I'm pretty sure. Especially if he's in Mistborn Era 1 and Mistborn Era 2, which I haven't read. So, like, he has to be stupid old, or he's time jumping.
Okay.
Ooh, that'd be interesting. Time jump.
My assumption about Wit is, like, more Cosmere related, which is, like, he has some very important artifact that makes time not a thing for him, is my guess.
Okay.
That would be fun.
Yes, I guess that's what we need to see now.
So it's like, so like I've seen lots of sexy Kaladin art. Is like Wit like is he supposed to be a hunky boy or something? Obviously he's like a thinner boy. He's more like an Orlando Bloom.
I like Daniel D's comment. I see David Tennant as Wit. That's a good one.
Yeah. That would work.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
I'm like trying to find some Wit fan art, but it's like it's not coming up. So
It's like Wit himself, he's elusive.
please leave it in Michael's or Leslie's Discords or the Facebook group because I would like to see it.
That's your homework tonight. Go find some fan art.
Or draw it.
The Discords are about to get real spicy.
Yeah.
Shirtless Wit.
How many years do we have to wait for Dragonsteel? Has Sanderson said?
I think that's probably like that. Whoever is the progenitor who finishes his series is going to be writing the Wit books. I don't think that's gonna.
See, I thought there was a mention of him being old because he said something about a lady who was the only person who's as old as he is.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, so I don't think Wit is maybe even human. I think he's a different being. I don't know. Is he a friend? Is he? I don't know what he is.
Yeah.
We know that like the heralds are people and they've been around for stupid long. They like keep going to that like torment place and back. So like there's something that can happen in this world that can make people live forever, or well, not forever, but like a long time probably.
Or maybe since he world hops, he just like takes like little like things like.
Well, I think Rich said he was like a collector of investiture instead of.
Oh
knowledge,
yeah, that's right.
Which
So-
would kind of make sense.
Is it a spoiler to talk about investiture? Because I don't get it. Like I've read so many.
It's the general word for the different magic in the different Cosmere worlds. So like investiture and Stormlight is like Stormlight or Surge Binding, and Warbreaker it's like using the color magic, and in Mistborn it's the different Mistborn magics. The general term for all the magics is investiture.
Yeah, the elemency.
Oh,
and
so
the,
like they're like the same. They're like synonyms.
It is a general term to cover all the different magics.
Okay. Why?
Because they all kind of come from a similar place. Because Brandon is a nerd. We know this.
Easy answer.
Hang on,
Yeah.
It's because of.
just pull it out.
Wit does have black hair in this one, or maybe he has white hair one. I imagine a lot of people having white hair in Mistborn, but I did imagine him having black hair in this book.
I think
I've not seen fan art with black hair. I've seen fan art of Wit with black hair, but I don't know.
I thought
Investiture equals mana.
Well, if he shows up from Warbreaker, he can have whatever hair he wants, right?
Well, only if. Well, I don't want to spoil that.
Their hair changes color. Warbreaker.
Wit wants to rule the entire Cosmere. He's definitely up to something.
But he's not evil. He's just trying to help everybody out. He helps Baby Shalon and Daddy Dalinar and jailed Kaladin and sad Kaladin.
Sad Kaladin. Yeah.
I kind of felt bad for Wit when Callan was like, "Yeah, I lost your flute."
Yeah,
I was slightly more upset by that than I should have been. But
I read something that Wit, the character of Wit, is really how Sanderson created the Cosmere universe when he was like in his teens. He had this idea of someone who could hop worlds, and that was kind of the foundations of his creation process for Cosmere.
Oh, okay. Has an object. Maybe it's the flute that Kaladin lost.
Michael, I think you said last time that at some point we are supposed to get like a major crossover between the series, right?
Sanderson has implied that at some point we might get like a big Avengers style team up. I think that stuff that happens in the next book implies that might be coming sooner than later.
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe even Rhythm of War potentially.
Yikes. But then you'll have to have some time hopping potentially. I mean, I guess not. I guess you just have whatever timeline is going on in that particular world.
Yeah, I can't. Oathbringer. A lot of stuff happens in Oathbringer.
Yeah, I believe it. There. But if you want Vin to pop up on Roshar, then I guess I don't know where that takes place in the timeline. But
if you could switch two characters at any point for story purpose or for humor, who would you switch?
Yeah, we're going to switch to a new question here, but if you have more theories or plots or favorite moments to share or any of the other things we did earlier, please do share.
Sorry, Chris, we always go on these crazy tangents.
No, it's great. It's so enjoyable. I'm loving it. That's why we do this, right? So we can talk. So what I was... So like an example of this is like, say Adolin went to visit the Ghostbloods instead of Shalon. I thought that would be, I mean, assuming he doesn't like get himself killed, I think it would be funny, you know? I don't know. If you guys have any fun ideas for that, I would love to hear them.
I feel like just inserting Lopin in any series is probably a good answer.
Oh, Lopin and Lift. How great would that be?
Yes.
If you put Lopin in like one of the meetings where like Dalinar is trying to plot about everything behind the scenes with Elhokar, but instead Lopin is in the room and Kaladin is like trying to actually suggest serious strategies. If Lopin's just like, well, I got a cousin that can do this actually.
I said this last week, but if Lopin dies, I'm done.
Oh.
Okay. Also, you were right initially. Elliot is right in the comments. If Adolin were ever put in a situation with the Ghost Bloods, he would immediately get himself
Out
killed.
himself.
He is not. Adolin has a very specific skill set, and it has to do with fighting. It has nothing to do with being smart or being crafty or deceiving his way out of a situation. He would just die.
Agree.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, Rocket and Lift would be great.
Oh, Rocket. Yeah, that would be fun.
Yes.
Because
It
he
would be
cooks
like-
and she eats. Oh, it'd be so
Exactly.
good.
He probably wouldn't be able to cook enough for her.
Renarin dating Aelin, finding out that his brother has been pooping in his plates.
Oh dear.
Oh no.
Oh, man.
That's probably a semi-normal thing. It's probably not just Adolin. Adolin's just the only one that brought it up in a date.
He's the
Because
one who admitted
Shalon
it.
asked him, yeah. He was like, yeah, you know, I did. He was trying to... I understand sometimes when you're courting someone, you would like to make them laugh, and that's a good way.
That's true.
Lift in the duel, like I like that. So she would be the one to jump in. Yeah.
That'd be super cool.
Yeah.
As a distraction, she would be kind of like Ant-Man in the Avengers, where she's just like sliding all around the place, distracting everybody.
Yeah.
So we get all these implications that like all these people can use these powers, you know, that Lift and other people. Like we need some sort of at some point in Stormlight event where they're all there doing their thing Avenger style. Like that just has to happen.
In relation to that comment that was on the screen, I think if there was any world where Sadeas is in the ring with Adolin, oops, something bad happened. There's no way that doesn't go bad.
Especially if Kaladin is there too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I think like after Ephraim's done, Sadeas is next.
Yeah.
You know what?
Oh man.
I was just thinking it could be kind of funny is because, I know Kaladin and his guys will switch off protecting, the king and Dalinar and everything. But I just thought it'd be funny the times that he has to guard and protect Adolin. If they were switched places, if Adolin had to guard Kaladin, like, I don't know what that would be like. If he was Kaladin's bodyguard.
You would probably just let things happen, like for a joke. Like, oops.
Yeah.
You get stabbed, sorry.
Oh my gosh.
I'm trying to imagine what that would be like.
There's a
next
comment. No, go ahead.
The next comment down is Shallan and Kaladin wouldn't date, they would have a disc contest. Now I'm imagining a rap battle between Shallan and Kaladin. Kaladin is like this emo rapper who talks about how bad his life has been, and Shallan is more old school where she's like bragging about stuff because she's making it all up on the spot. She's like, knows nothing. Oh, it'd be so funny.
Victoria, that's your next song.
Yeah.
Oh
I
man.
still think we're gonna get some sort of love triangle between Kaladin, Adolin, and Shallan.
I
Kaladin
definitely,
and Shallan's fighting is too much like flirting, in my opinion.
Yeah, I definitely see that as a possibility.
That's a prediction right there. Kaladin and Shallan. I feel like that might happen.
Especially once Kaladin becomes a Light Eyes, which is gonna happen.
Shaladin.
Kaladin.
Elgar's a bodyguard.
Yeah, epic rap battles of history, Kaladin versus Shallan.
Yes.
I love it.
Yes.
You've been nominated, Victoria.
Oh.
I have to come up with something. At least a verse.
Yeah.
Elgar is the bodyguard. Yeah, he'd be useless probably.
But he's so he does think of everything that can go wrong.
Yeah, that's true. He's he would be the paranoid one who wouldn't let you step anywhere. He'd be like, wait, that might be a booby trap.
Elliot's comment. Oh my word. That'd be a sample part of the beat. It'd be so good.
Oh man.
Maybe Ellie and Victoria should team up for this one.
And Wit would also be doing some crazy flute stuff in the background.
Yeah.
This could be serious booktube gold. It'd be the nerdiest freaking crap I've ever heard of in my life.
It would be the best thing ever, though.
Definitely be
Oh my word.
That would be hilarious.
This has to happen.
Yeah, the beat would be some kind of mixture of like patterns saying like lies and some kind of like flute trail or something. Yeah, I like this. These are too much fun.
Yeah.
Meaning Shalon instead of Syl as Kaladin's fairy person. Spread.
Shalon would be so annoying. Shalon would be annoying to death.
Now I'm picturing that. Oh my gosh. That's hilarious.
I hope Syl and Pattern meet someday.
I'm certain they will.
Mm-hmm.
Humiliating and amazing.
Oh, it won't be feeling. It'll be the best thing. Yes, please.
Putting Shalon into any situation, period, is always interesting because she will just bullcrap her way through whatever's happening. And she doesn't know enough about the world for it to be suave. So it's always going to be like cringe, like where you think she's going to get killed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Syl and Shalon verse each other, like fighting each other?
In a rap battle, I think, would probably be the better option.
I got you. Okay.
We're non-violent people here.
I got you.
Fight with words.
Okay, let's be real here, though. Kaladin and Shalon have basically had these word fights already, right?
Yes.
A couple times, yeah.
At least twice, if not three.
And that we could include the Horn Eater scene there, the boots scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wit would win every rap battle in the Cosmere. That's hands down.
Easily.
Oh, yeah.
It'd be fun to start like taking characters from like different Cosmere books and pitting them against each other. Like, I don't know, Kelsier against Adeline would be fun.
Adolin would win that one, I think.
Probably.
Well, hold on. Are shard blades metal? Because that could change things.
I think so.
Oh. Ooh.
I don't know if they're metal or not.
I don't know either.
I don't think we really know what they're made out of right now.
Yeah.
At this point in the book.
Well, wait. Okay, I can't really talk about it.
Yeah, I can't say anything.
It would be a spoiler.
I could talk about a lot more things, but I can't. So.
Dang.
Okay, we'll change the subject then.
Well,
Also, that was what I was actually laughing at, was that Wit is the actual rap god.
Oh.
Oh, definitely.
But yeah, we can't really have that conversation. When we've all caught up on Cosmere books, then we can start having these major debates.
Yes. Well, there's not that many left to read. There's what, like 10 or 11, 12?
Vin versus Kaladin. Okay, Vin versus Kaladin is a real tough one. It's a real tough one because I think Vin adjusts so much better, so much faster.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Kaladin he's still struggle busting so hard.
He's so
Yeah, I think you could derail Kaladin pretty easily, I think, and fluster him.
To be fair, Vin has only 3 books, so she has to make her adjustments fairly quickly. And also, we don't know how much time is actually passing. Like, I don't know how to compare the time.
So I've only
read the same amount of time. Who knows?
I'm a baby here with Mistborn. I've only read the first Mistborn book. The first Mistborn book takes place in about a year, and she makes some great strides in that year in ways that Kaladin hasn't in probably about the same amount of time. But also,
you mean
like
since he was a slave, or like before
that's
that?
The thing. Like it's hard. I don't want to beat on Kaladin because I also love. Yeah, just mentioned Tian and Kaladin dies. I don't know. There's ways to. I don't know. I do think Vin adjusts better, but also I think Kaladin. I want to.
Yes, I am.
Oh my gosh.
That's all that time is.
Oh my word. There's gonna be a genre of Stormlight Archive rap, and it's gonna be so corny and so good. It's
You throw a rock into any one of them, and he'll just be like, "Airsick Lowlander."
oh my word.
Oh my gosh.
The funny thing is, we've had that already. Stick versus Shalon. And
Yeah.
Shalon lost. She's straight lost. Yeah.
Well, I'm not be a good friend.
Elliot.
Yeah.
Elliot says that Kaladin won't fight through the tears. I've started reimagining Kaladin is always crying while fighting. I think he is always tearing while he's fighting, whether it's from passion or actual sadness. He's always got the emo
He's got
fight.
a lot of feelings. He just has a lot of feelings.
He feels hard. He does.
Yes.
Where's he on the Enneagram?
Oh, that's a fun question.
What Enneagram number is Kaladin? He's
Yeah.
Oh, he's a
Rich,
He's the most stubborn.
And emotional. What are those?
Ven
for?
mentions that, or Rich mentions that Ven had a teacher, which is true.
True.
Yeah.
Kaladin is stuck dealing with like a little fairy that tells him jokes a lot. Okay, to be fair, Ven's teacher also told him jokes a lot.
So this was Sanderson's way to put Tinkerbell in the series.
Yeah.
kind of Tinkerbell-like.
Does that mean okay? So my prediction. You asked me about my predictions earlier. We're going to get in Rhythm of War, and I do believe in fairies. I do scene where everybody has to chant it, and then the fairies come back to
Hey Una,
Hi, Una.
Hello, Una.
I'm
Thanks for
excited about the
coming.
video you filmed tonight. Did you guys see what they were filming?
Yeah, they're filming their assumptions.
Assumptions.
Right?
Ooh.
That's gonna be a good
Yay.
one.
That will be good.
When is it coming up?
It's like him as Hulk in the Avengers. Like his secret is that he's always sad.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh.
I make so much fun of Kaladin, but I love him so much.
Yeah.
Well,
I love the Paladin love.
he could be a 4 Enneagram.
That's what I thought.
Because
Yes.
it says expressive, dramatic, self-absorbed, and temperamental.
And it's the sensitive withdrawn type. That's Kaladin. Kaladin's a 4.
4. All right.
He's the guy in an anime video game who, like, 50% of his dialogue would just be ellipses.
Kaladin is the character that if he was in Lord of the Rings, he would eventually become Gollum.
Say that again.
If Kaladin was in Lord of the Rings, he would eventually become Gollum.
That's so much meaner.
I
That's
think
so
that's
much
pretty
meaner.
good.
No,
Right
I
there.
don't know. I don't think so. Don't
Everybody
say that
hating
about
on
my
Cal
Paladin.
tonight.
Hey, at least it's not Adolin like the other weeks.
I'm
True.
okay with that.
True.
He can use it. I think Cal has had enough vile things spoken and done to him in his
Yeah.
lifetime.
You just
Or
need
anybody.
Kaladin.
Adolin could use a bit more of it, to be honest.
Yeah.
Kaladin needs a hug.
Elliot
Yes.
says Kaladin and Scar
Thank
from
you.
Full Metal Alchemist would be pals. I've made the reference on one of these streams before that I'm pretty sure Zeth is Scar from Full Metal Alchemist.
Is that
Yeah.
I will say though, for Adeline, I recently felt kind of sorry for him because the position he's in really does mean that he doesn't have any friends. So it's like, yeah, he's in a high position.
That's true.
And he's
Yeah.
spoiled. But
Except his brother.
in the last
his dad.
his brother, it's like, but everything that's been going on politically has kind of literally separated him from everyone else, and no one really wants anything to do with him. Like that's kind of sad.
Well, on the flip side of that, you have Kaladin, and I think maybe I'm reading into it too much, but I would say Kaladin thinks he doesn't have any friends.
but he has a lot.
Well, no, exactly.
Kaladin specifically says he thinks his only friend is Moash, which that seems to be going great for him, huh?
Yeah.
Right.
But I think if Kaladin told any of his crew that, like, Teft would be all upset, Rock would be
They'd all be
annoyed.
offended. Yeah.
Like he has so many friends, but he just doesn't let himself emotionally open up to them.
I understand it being weird though if you're like also their commander. Like there is
Because
a
they all look
brotherhood.
up to him.
Yeah, but they literally idolize him. That's why he likes Moash, because Moash doesn't idolize him.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
feels like an equal.
I wish we got more of Sigzil.
Sigzil.
Sigzil, yeah, that
Yeah.
guy. I wish we got
Oh,
more
yeah.
of him.
Yeah. Yeah. And I like Teft. I like Teft a lot.
Hmm.
I like Tef.
I like Overdose's comment up there. Kaladin was a modern teenager.
I mean, it's not really wrong.
One sec. Keep going. Keep going.
But I do think it's crazy to me that all it took, it took a few weeks in prison for him to literally spiral into as far. I don't know. It's just
Yeah, because he spent months in prison before.
yeah. But I mean, I don't know. I guess, and I don't know. It's I guess he's one of those people that I don't know, because there are people that do that can handle kind of confinement a little bit easier, and I guess he's just not one of those people.
It's probably a good thing that Kaladin's friend isn't Pattern. The two of them would just get into way too much trouble.
I think I'm wondering if he gets so he must be Kaladin strikes me as a pessimist that he just assumes the worst.
Oh yeah.
And so even though Dalinar's like, no, I'm going to get you out of here, it's fine. And even Syl convinces him, you don't really think he's a bad person. And he's like, yeah, you're right. I mean, I know that's not how the conversation goes, but he has that realization. But he can't trust anyone, or he refuses to trust anyone, and just assumes the worst about everyone and everything.
Like you said about the Enneagram number 4, expressive, dramatic, and temperamental.
So it's you can't get out of your own head, and therefore just a few weeks in a prison that, granted does not have a lot of sunlight, but is not filthy and grungy and dirty like the other one. It's just, I don't know. It just was wow, he went, he got there so quickly.
Yeah, I thought that too when I read that part. It almost was it was a return to a PTSD kind of thing.
Yeah.
All this.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I guess to me, it's kind of reveals that he's got a lot of strengths physically, but mentally he's got a lot of weakness. He does not have a lot of mental strength. That to me, that's where his biggest weakness is.
Agreed.
That's true.
Michael, do you find what you were looking for?
Yeah,
or maybe
my
emotional strength.
So Overdose Chill Pill made the comment that if Kaladin was a modern teenager, his start of diary entry would be "My life is a spiraling abyss." But that reminded me of the literal first chapter that you get from Jacob Black in the final Twilight book, where it says, "Life sucks, then you die. I should be so lucky," which is the most Kaladin quote.
It is, because he's always complaining about how he's the only one that doesn't die, and everyone around him does.
It's so stupid.
Oh man.
Oh, word.
It definitely reminds me. It really does, though. That really does. It really does strike me as one of those teenager mindsets, because teenagers are always convinced that the slightest thing that goes wrong is the end of their world. Their world is over.
Calvin is 19. Just saying.
Yeah.
Okay, but let's be okay.
His world is ending.
Exactly. I have to defend Kaladin.
Not really.
His girlfriend didn't dump him. His girlfriend dumped him and married someone else. His brother died. All of his friends died on multiple occasions. He became a slave. He had to charge into death multiple times. He actually gets to complain.
Yes,
he actually is allowed.
Out of all the characters who are flawed.
What I was getting to is that teenagers get into their head that I'm the only one that's ever gone through this. No one else has ever experienced. It's they get very what's the word?
Selfish.
It's a very self-absorbed in the sense that my life is ruined and no one else could ever possibly understand what I've gone through. And it's it's very much that loss of perspective of there are other people in the world who've experienced because he's not the only Dark Eyes. He's not the only Dark Eyes that's ever been a slave. And there are other people that have lost people. So it's his inability to think that anyone else out there on the planet could possibly understand what, anything he's gone through. I mean, I know no one else has experienced the same things, but it's
I don't think he knows anybody that has, so that's part of his problem.
Obviously not, but it's that that perspective of kind of this self-centered that no one else could ever understand how like he just excludes the possibility that anyone could have experienced anything as bad as his life or even worse. It's just, it's very much a young mindset. You know, the older we get, the more we realize, like, I can complain, like, yeah, I can complain about this, but someone else out there probably has it worse, you know, but he hasn't gotten there yet. It's that last step into maturity, I think, that's really speaks of kind of that teenager mindset of like,
well, just remember, we're on book 2 of a 10-book series, so he's got time.
I was gonna say maybe that next ascension for him is going to be thinking more outwardly rather than more inwardly.
Yeah,
he still has to find, I think, the next like words, right? The next words that say that keeps telling him.
Yeah.
But maybe part of that is going to be more of like serving others or being more outward.
Yeah,
right. And I do think that, and that's why I do think he's going to have to get a shard blade, become a light eyes, because then he'll have to embrace the fact that I am one of these people that I hate now, and I have to learn to deal with it. And I think that'll be, if that happens, and it might not, but if it does, that could be.
I feel like it will.
I think so. Not looking at Michael and Christy, but we would have pushed him into that next step.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Blind Book Junkie. I appreciate this comment.
Yeah,
if he had medicine or treatment or therapy of some kind, I'm sure he would feel better about what he's doing.
Like maybe having a couple friends at least would probably be, positive. But yeah, I
He'll
think
understand him.
As much as I make jokes about it, like I feel like he one actually has legitimately experienced crap. 2, yes, he even knows he's being illogical about it. And 3, what Rich said, he also at multiple occasions has been like, well, freaking I'll suck it up and deal with it, and just does what needs done. Like that's what he does at the end of the first book. That's what he does during the duel scene. Like, yes, sometimes he is a little emo and fun to make fun of, but also he is kind of the hero of so many of these parts of the series so far.
He knows it in his gut what's right most of the times. I mean, he struggles in making decisions a lot of times, but when push comes to shove, he knows how to be self-sacrificial and to save the people around him.
When is he being irrational? Like I don't know.
It's mostly when he beats himself up for every single person's death around him. Is the more irrational side of everything.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Mainly in book 1, where he's like, everyone around me always dies.
Yeah.
Dry's
but that's
point.
True.
It is true.
It's more
it's
of
not his fault, but
it's like, oh, it's always my fault that everyone dies.
It's my presence that does it.
Which stems from his feeling of having failed Tien.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah. And also, I think
when he was a teenager.
Yeah, and coming from the surgeon background too, when people's lives are in his hands, that doesn't help.
Yeah.
I don't think most teenagers could handle that.
Yeah, probably not.
I couldn't. I'm 30. I'm not 30 yet. I'm not 30 yet.
Almost.
Don't talk about it.
Is this something we can fix? I don't
think so. It seems to be working fine on my second screen.
Okay.
I know that there's some comments in the chat about people talking about how Shalon seems really good at manipulating people.
Yeah.
But that's our whole thing. But Dry has the best point, which I have small children, so I know. Children manipulate you from day one. They literally start their days manipulating you.
Yeah.
So, Shalon actually has powers that let her do it. So she should. She learns it at the beginning of the book, and then Yasna's death makes it so it is even more important. She's like, oh crap, I have to command myself like people should listen to me to make them listen to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is a good point though, about how children do they come out of the womb manipulating.
My daughter, who is 8 months old, fake cries because she knows that when she cries, she gets a response faster than if she doesn't cry.
Yeah. It's crazy what they do, even at a really young age.
Yeah, Shalon had to learn how to manipulate her father and also then go cheer up her brothers and like pretend everything was fine to her brothers. So yeah, we see her develop those skills early too.
Shalon needs a hug so much.
Well,
She
if you
also-
think about it,
Yeah.
you kind of almost contrast Shalon and Kaladin because they both have been through crap, like different kinds.
Very true.
But I mean, hers was a lot more mental and emotional, as far as I know. I mean, I can't.
We still have
Yeah, I
a
know.
quarter
We
of the
don't
book
know.
left.
We don't know. From my limited, slightly more limited knowledge, but but she somehow has come out of it less Kaladin-like. I don't know.
She just copes in a different way, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Are different.
So it's like, yeah. So I think, for Kaladin, I think, and that's one of the things that's like, I feel like he has so much potential, and it's just slightly what's holding him back is this kind of slightly immature mindset of like, how he copes. And it's like, if he can just get past that, then it's like, he'll be he'll fully stepped into not only his abilities as a, with Stormlight, but also as a leader and whatever else he can do. It's like, just get over that and you'll be like awesome, extra awesome.
He'll get there.
Yes, I'm sure he will.
Believe in him.
Let's see.
Overdose
Still
Children was a good, that one.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah, it seems like Kaladin doesn't have much sense of humor. It would probably
Yeah.
help him if he did.
Mm-hmm.
Although I don't know if he'd be better at the jobs that he actually needs to do. They are completely different orders of radiance. So
That's true.
Yeah.
That is true. Yeah.
I do love that we're learning more about the different orders of radiance in this book. I love that.
me
It's really fun. And I'm almost like every time I see a new one, I try to write it down because I'm like, ooh, like I gotta go back.
I'm having a really I when I read all those things, like I can tell they're talking about different orders, but I still don't understand what they're saying about them. Like I don't understand.
Words before the chapter.
Yeah.
I don't either. Don't
I don't
worry.
understand. I'm like, I see a new name, but I have no idea what they're talking about. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
So Victoria, I'll be honest, I was taking diligent notes up until more than halfway through Words of Radiance, and then Michael, around the time the duel happened, I just gave up. I'm not taking notes anymore. I'm gonna stop.
Actually, I didn't take notes in the last 2 chapters that we read of this section because same thing. I was like, I need to finish. I need to keep reading.
Yeah. When time is of the essence.
But maybe I'll go back and take notes. I just have 2 chapters to take notes for.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Oh yeah, I want to take. There's like a quiz, right? Of what radiant are you? I need to take.
When's a good time to take that quiz so that it's not spoilery?
You can take it at any point. You just, I
Okay.
mean, you're not going to know, like, at this point where we are in the book, there are lots of orders of the Radiance that we don't know any Radiance for.
Mhm.
So it
Sure.
tells you about the Order of the Radiance. So I guess that if you consider that a spoiler, then, but like the actual page for what orders of Radiance it is, it doesn't say who is what or anything. So you should be able to take it anytime.
Cool.
I'm an edge dancer, by the way.
me
You're an
too.
edge dancer.
I scored equally edge dancer and windrunner, perfectly in the middle.
Is Windrunner is what Zeth
And
and Kaladin are, right?
Yeah.
Kaladin, yeah.
Yeah.
I know a will shaper and only one will shaper, I think. I'm kind of excited to. I'm sort of tempted to look it up, but also I don't know. I don't know if I should.
Was that your result?
No,
Oh.
I know somebody in my rating group who's a will shaper, and
Okay.
I'm like, oh, so you're what a will shaper is like. But I want to like,
All these things I've never heard of.
Now
Never
I
heard
want
of
to
wallpaper.
take it to find out what
yeah, take it. I want to see.
Somebody's never heard of before. Else Caller. Never heard of that one. I guess we'll find out.
I
The
think
Call to Adventure game. I really want to play that. It's like a Stormlight card game.
Oh.
Oh yeah.
That's gonna be fun.
Oh, interesting. Is that a card? Is that the card game?
It's like it was a card game that existed before, but then they remade a Stormlight edition, like a Stormlight branded edition.
Okay.
I want to play it very badly.
Cool. We'll just wait for the Stormlight movie to come out. There'll be tie-ins for everything.
I'm looking forward to that day.
Or the miniseries, whatever they decide to do.
Oh, that's right. I remember Zeth is a Skybreaker, and then Kaladin's not, right? So they're different.
Yes.
Wait, where is? I'm all confused. I don't know.
I don't know either. But I do remember. I thought Syl said like Kaladin, you're not a Skybreaker, right?
She does.
Yeah, she says that.
That was one of my. We don't have time for it tonight. But that was one of my questions.
Zeth knows.
Huh?
Zeth just said it. He knows.
Yeah.
Zeth knows.
Was she saying that in reference to Zeth? Because I remember her saying that, but I thought it was.
Well, somewhere else I think we learned that Zeth is a Skybreaker, and then at another point in the book, Syl says, like Kaladin, why are you acting like that? You're not a Skybreaker.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah, I don't want to like kill the discussion, but yeah, the stuff about what Zeth actually is a spoiler.
Oh, okay.
Okay, gotcha. Mistborn Houseborn, is that a game?
Yes.
Yeah, it sounds like that is in their card game or board game of some sort, which I also didn't know existed, but now I'm interested in.
Yeah.
I know that Stormlight one.
Looks
but not that one.
amazing. I want to buy it, but we don't have anybody like that can come over right now because of COVID and play it.
I wonder if it exists on like there's on Steam. There's the tabletop simulator where you can play board games online. I've done that before. I wonder if it exists on there.
Ooh,
We're fine.
that would be cool. Okay, I feel like we should probably wrap it up. Although we could keep talking for forever because I think we're all just kindred spirits.
And
But
next week we get to finish the book and talk about whether it can be made into a movie or not.
Are you going to make a video?
Yes, it'll probably take a little bit longer this time because there's more chapters to try to figure out.
Yeah.
But I'm more confident this one can be made into a movie than the first one can, just because you don't have so much setup.
Oh, nice! Get to be the bad guys.
That sounds fun.
well, there goes my secret. Is it, so there is.
It might be in Tabletop Simulator. Yeah,
Ooh.
that would be super. Don't tempt me. I don't have time.
Add anything else? Right?
Yeah.
Dang it!
To sleep comes out Tuesday.
Oh man, I'm so excited. Oh, a Mistborn video game. See, I was thinking the exact same thing when I was reading Mistborn. I was like, using these powers could be really fun.
Oh, it would be a perfect video game. It would lend itself very easily.
Because I think Stormlight would be harder to make into a video game early on because there's so much where like characters aren't fighting and don't have powers. But like Mistborn, it's just like, I mean, heck, you could just be a Mistborn. It could be like a house war game where you're a Mistborn that works for a noble house and you just try to assassinate other people. Like it could be a side game.
Mistborn, I know I kind of joke a lot about making these into movies, but Mistborn could legitimately be a really good movie. It's short enough and it's just visually epic enough. That's when I made that how to adapt.
It fits a more standard.
Yeah, that's why I chose Mistborn for the how to adapt a book tag, because like it's just so visually cool. Like all the pushing and pulling of metals, like it's like Star Wars-ish.
Yeah. Oh man, that would be cool. You got my brain spinning.
Now, I've never. Would a tabletop stream be like we play the tabletop game on a stream? Is that what you're talking about, or what do you guys mean?
I think that's what she's saying. Yeah, like you could stream us playing the game.
Would we all have to have our own boards, or I guess?
Well, in Tabletop Simulator, you are all playing a game like on a Steam client, so you'll all be looking at the same table in the game, and then you can, one person would stream the table, or it could be different.
Can we do that on your Discord?
Yeah, we probably could. I think it would be fun.
That would be really fun.
Rich has a great comment. Need the unlimited Adium cheat code.
Yes. Alrighty, guys. We should really wrap it up.
Those poor California people are so hungry.
You guys are so sleepy.
Yeah, I'm starting to fade.
I've got to edit a video.
Oh no.
Ooh, can we know what video?
I meant
Spoilers.
to make a Mistborn review, but
Oh,
I was
yes.
way too tired and I didn't. So I just wrote a list of things that I think are unpopular opinions and I talk about them. So it's mostly me looking like an idiot.
No.
Oh yeah.
No, it is. It is.
Well, it'll be fun one way or another.
Yes.
Looking forward to it.
Yes, me too. All right. Yeah, so that's don't forget to check out everybody's channels in the description. They do have videos coming out and planned and it's really exciting. So check those out, guys. And thanks so much for coming. This was so much fun.
It always is.
Yes, it really is. And thank you for leaving all the comments for us. And yeah, first timers for sharing their ideas. And Ellie Brooks, thanks for hanging out with us. So next time we will be here. Yeah, 3 weeks from now. I'm sorry. It's a
October 1st.
long wait, but October 1st, same time, will be our finale live show for Words of Radiance. And then we will be starting Oathbringer after that. So
Yay.
very exciting. And if you want to chat with us more, you can come to Michael's or Leslie's Discords. They both have Stormlong chat sections, or the Facebook group where I have the live stream schedule. I also have the live stream schedule in the descriptions of every Stormlight video. And yeah, we'll look forward to talking with you guys for the next 3 weeks because that's such a long time.
Mhm.
But it's just how it worked out this time. So please come again. We really enjoy talking with you. And yes, thank you. And we'll talk to you guys soon, okay?
Thank you guys.
Bye.
Great
Thank you.
convo.
Bye-bye.